Welcome to today's webinar. Our topic is digital client engagement in asset and wealth management companies. I'm your moderator, Aditi, and I'm thrilled to be joined today by Akhil Mittal, Vice President Digital Solutions at eDynamic. Akhil is a technology enthusiast with over a decade of experience working with Fortune 50 companies to startups. His multifunctional experience across marketing, digital analytics, security, cloud infrastructure, and environmental sciences. He's been an advisor to many leading banks, asset and wealth management companies, and alternative leading companies, helping them choose the right technologies in line with their business KPIs. He's a strong believer in one philosophy that business KPIs should drive, that is, drive technology decisions, and not vice versa. In today's presentation, you will learn about challenges faced by asset management and wealth management marketers and how should they leverage digital innovations. We'll also be having question and answer session towards the end of the webinar. So please send us all your questions and we'll make sure to answer them in real time. And now over to Akhil.
Thank you, Aditi, and thanks everyone. A very good afternoon. It is my pleasure to address such a lovely audience. Frankly, I had a lovely lunch. It feels really dangerous to address this slot of the day, but I am really glad that all of you have. I'll try to squeeze my monologue as short as possible and quickly jump to your questions and suggestions. They are the ones most important for today. Please feel free to send in your questions and suggestions during the course of presentation so that we can cover them towards the end. As Aditi said, today we have a packed agenda of 4 key topics to discuss. We'll start with what is the biggest challenge that all of us in asset management and wealth management marketing are facing today. What is required to overcome this challenge? Then we'll try to see the how part, how should we approach it, followed by some examples and how people try to address this. Wonderful, great. So beginning for us in asset and wealth management industry, everything starts pre and post the financial crisis, and hence the way of this presentation. The good part is, and I am really glad that the worst is probably over. We all hope that the good times are ahead, especially after 2011 and 12. We see signs of recovery and growth. But the flip side, and this is what worries me a lot, the flip side is, are we happy? Are we relaxed enough? Revenues are rising, of course. We saw it in the previous slide. Assets under management are rising. We have got a healthy pipeline. But the costs seem to be rising higher. We saw that revenues rose 2% that of 2007, but the cost was 6% higher, which essentially means there is some trouble beneath the skin. All of us will empathize on these reasons that I tried to list it down. There were a lot of reasons that I could find within a lot of studies, but these are the top 3 reasons that I feel are the one responsible for this flip side. Regulatory cost, all of us will agree, they are increasing continuously. The burden because of these regulatory changes is very huge for all of us. Investor preferences are shifting. All of us today talk about millennials. We say baby boomers are making their way for the millennials. And millennials are a different way of working. They have a very different way, the way they interact with us. A lot of non-traditional competition, such as robo-advisors. We see a lot of discussion on robo-advisors these days. All of us talk about alternatives in investments coming up. So here I'd love to have a quick opinion poll from all of you about what do you feel within your organizations. Are you really satisfied with your marketing and sales innovations going in your organizations? We love to hear. So are you really extremely happy, just satisfied, or or not really that satisfied with what you are doing today, part of your marketing and sales innovation. Great. Let us see what have we got. Okay. So results are encouraging. 60% plus of us feel we are happy, which is a positive sign. But yeah, 41% of us are just satisfied, which is what I see with rest of the customers, rest of the people in marketers, especially in asset and wealth management industry, uh, whom I meet, and that is exactly the challenge that I'm going to talk about today. Essentially, it is not really something. I'll just switch on the slides back again. Second. Yeah, so the real challenge that we are talking about today is not something which is posed by an external factor, but it is actually our inability to innovate and adjust to that external environment. I truly feel that lack of innovation within marketing and sales is what I hear unanimously within all the asset management and wealth management marketers today. Okay, we know what is the challenge. So what do we need to do? Customer has to be the center for all marketing and sales initiatives. All of us have studied it, all of us have worked on it, and this is something which is religious to us. Similarly, digital as an initiative needs to touch every customer touch point. When we start with the branding and awareness cycle, it is must that we create a brand for asset management and wealth management companies. It's a bit different from what it is to do with other industries. End of the day, people connect with people and not logos. I strongly believe that in every marketing that we do today for asset and wealth management industry, it's not really the logos that we need to put forward, it is the people. And when I say people, our best face to the market are our advisors, our wealth managers, our investment managers. They are the true marketers that we need to leverage. Their bio pages, and this is a trend I have seen across some of the most successful of the marketing people within asset and wealth management industry. The bio pages gets most of the hits rather than the home page. A lot of us sometimes focus in towards making the home page the most lucrative, the most attractive. But actually, if you are gonna delve deeper into the numbers, it is the bio pages that attracts the customer the most. And these bio pages is the one that all of us in digital need to focus. I really feel that bio pages should bring out the mojo of your advisors. These pages need to be incredibly dynamic. When I say dynamic, it has to be as near as real time, where the frequent updates about the advisors, as well as it should also act as an interactive platform between the advisors and the customers. So we should give all the leeway to the customers, the end clients, to interact with these advisors using digital as a media. There is no perfect recipe for acquiring customers when we talk about acquisition and onboarding. Uh, but content marketing is really the heart and core of an acquisition strategy today. Content marketing has become extremely popular and effective in recent times, especially due to the advent of multiple digital media. I'm really talking here about mobile and socials to be specific. All of us have heard COPE a lot of time. COPE, when I say COPE, that is create once and publish everywhere. And COPE is the strategy that I recommend to all of my customers. I'm not being selective in recommending COPE. I always say you have a strong content, you feel you want to reach out to your customers, apply Co. We have got the tools available today and we have the mechanisms to reach out to all the channels. We never know the customer is reaching out to us or interacting with us through which channel. Content has to be highly relevant, but yeah, the most important part to it is content has to be highly relevant to the context of their requirements. Extreme care has to be taken to avoid overwhelming the customer with non-relevant and non-contextual content. Sometimes we feel that we have got so much of content, let us put it across all to the customers. That is the big mistake that we commit sometimes. Let us not overwhelm our customers or clients with too much of content. Analytics is completely transforming the way we manage our portfolio and administration. Today, all of us hear about technologies like machine learning, natural language processing, and robo-advisors. So, and that is where a lot of underwriting today, a lot of risk management today has been totally transformed. Customer service and engagement, and this is my favorite part of the entire discussion. One of the most important aspects in the success of any asset management and wealth management company is to provide superior service and prudent engagement. Marketing has a big role to play here and bring it into action. Believe me, it is not just one team like marketing who can do it. It has to be a coordinated effort between multiple teams. And I somehow feel that marketing team is the one who can be at the steering wheel for this. Flexibility of choosing the channel should always be with the customer. We should never try to force the customer, or we can never push the customer towards one particular channel. Customer is always free to choose his own channel of interaction with us. When we talk about acquisition versus engagement within our industry of asset management and wealth management, new customer acquisition is mostly limited in volume, and as well as it is costly in terms of time and energy. And that is the reason why cross-selling and upselling, these are two very, very popular terms we all of us hear during customer engagement cycles. And cross-selling and upselling to current customers has become the most critical part of increasing the top line as well as the bottom line. The two, and within the engagement, I'm sorry, I'm elaborating this a bit further, but really, customer engagement, if we want to have it more prudent for the customer, it has to have two key stating features. One is, of course, personalization. I'm sorry, I've eaten too much in the lunch, it seems. One, of course, is personalization. Personalization, all of us talk about today, but are we actually doing it or not is a big question mark. Believe me, more than 80% of the marketers whom I meet, all of them want to talk about personalization. But when I check their ability to actually execute a personalization strategy, we fall short of. So personalization is something that we need to take really seriously. I remember in a recent conference, Forrester has even come up with a new terminology called individualization. So we have now even coming up to a next level where we say it's not just personalization, it is even individualization of the content and the message. And the second most important aspect is the single view of customer. We are interacting with the same customer through multiple channels, multiple media, but are we bringing together the same message? Are we able to understand the customer as one single entity or not? Loyalty and advocacy management is again, this is the heart and soul of any digital initiative within the asset management and wealth management industry. Somebody rightly said that loyal affluent customer is worth nearly 3.5 times more than an average one. And this is not just a quotation, this is actually a study which was done by Bain. So essentially, what we mean to say is customer loyalty management is not just one another initiative or one another exercise. It is actually an area which directly contributes towards the business for us. And not all customers are to be treated equally. The entire philosophy behind loyalty management is that we have some customers who are more valuable than the others. It might sound a bit freaky to a lot of sales people especially, but that is the truth. We cannot treat all the customers of ours today equal, and hence we need an important exercise like segmentation and then target those segments with right strategies. Customer advocacy is another dimension to customer loyalty. A lot of people have different definitions for that, but the simplest form, I believe, is you do what is the best for your customer and not what is best for your company. Customer advocacy is something easy to talk about, but not so easy to really implement. And that is where a lot of us have got doubts, a lot of us think that we are doing it, but when we start doing it, there are problems, there are issues on the way. As with any other initiative, there needs to be a definite roadmap. Suggest a roadmap, but really the first and the last stage here, which is the strategy and planning, should have to be the first stage, and growth and change management has to be the last stage. All the stages in between can still shuffle around. There is no hard bound that you need to have a content management system before automation system, or the vice versa. It is for those steps can still shuffle based on the internal objectives, but strategy and planning exercise needs to happen as the first step. As I said, this is probably the most important step of all, and the biggest limitation I've seen with any strategy and planning exercise is that output cannot be put to immediate test. Whatever we plan in this stage can never be seen working at an immediate effect. It takes some time before you realize what you did there, and if there are any mistakes in the exercise. The unfortunate part, by the time we realize we have committed any mistakes in a strategy and planning phase, it is usually too late. Many a times, even I've seen the entire implementation processes have to be repeated to overcome the mistakes we commit in the strategy phase. So that's why this stage, let's not cut any corners. Let's be more prudent, take some time, apply all the effort into it, and have a cautious decision. The best way and the simplest way to do a strategy and planning exercise is to ask a lot of questions. And these questions should not be, we should not worry before asking these questions whether we'll be able to answer them or not. Let's just ask questions. We never know what questions can lead to some great insight at that stage. And the biggest flaw which a lot of us in marketing does, we sometimes start with technology questions rather than the objectives, which is like a perfect recipe for a disaster, I say. So the must part about any strategy and planning exercise, we have to start with the business objectives, and then gradually move to functionality, technology, people, and process or so. But we have to start with the objectives. The design part, the user experience design. Now, if a lot of you are following Jeff James, the author of Inc.com, he rightly said it is not an information itself that is important, but the emotional effect that the information has on an audience. So the entire idea behind that is that it more than the content, sometimes it is the emotional effect from that content which hits the end customer. And I'm sorry, and it is the user experience design that really has the power to influence those emotions. This is the single reason I always say UX design is actually a science of art. So we all behave like artists, but there is a science behind it. Design has always been very subjective in nature. It is extremely difficult to validate it quantitatively or qualitatively, saying uh, is this design better than the other. The real test, the only difference I say between a good and a bad design is how well it is accepted by the end users. There can be a few things that we can keep in mind for while doing the UX design. Customer has to be the focus, of course. Conversion is something that we have to keep in mind. Whether it is to encourage the user to fill some questionnaire or some invite or some information, but it has to be the conversion which is focus uh, of the entire design. It's not that we make things too flashy, but the actual conversion becomes out of focus. Multi-channel, this is interesting. I I remember, so last couple of months I to a lot of my friends and colleagues in asset and wealth management marketing, and surprisingly, almost 30 to 40% of the companies I've spoken, their designs are not yet responsive. All of us say, yeah, responsive is a must today. We all need to have it, but surprisingly, we still don't have it. So if you don't have it, I will strongly suggest you have that part of your roadmap immediately. Do it as soon as yesterday. Don't delay it. We don't know the customers are watching you through which device. Browsability and quick glance, that is one important aspect of every design. So users typically don't read through the text content today. They want to browse through it. Again, I always say, do not overdo anything. It's like, let us not overwhelm user with any specific thing. Speed matters, of course, and simplicity is the key behind every design. Let's not make things too complex for the end user to search something. Testing is must. I'm personally a fan of A/B testing, and we need to have thorough testing of multiple options because we never know what is that the user accepts more. Content management, again, so managing the content is one of the most critical components that we saw in any digital roadmap. Siloed piece of information. It is in, especially in the management industry, there are a series of contents that need to have linkages with each other. If we take them in silos, they might not make any sense. But when we have the right linkages, we link those content pieces. That's the only time when they make sense to the end user. And that is where, whether we talk about multi-channel or personalization, everything boils down to those linkages. Marketing automation, this is like the buzzword today. All of us talk within the marketing community. It is, of course, the next logical step. There can be multiple ways to reach out to potential customers, including email and social media. There are multiple steps involved in this activity, whether it is the identification of target customer through segmentation, continuous reach out to the target customers through nurture activities, tracking their response to analytics, and then taking the next steps accordingly. There are some great tools available in the market today. I'm not really going to discuss them on this call, but I believe there are a good amount of tools which are available that can meet these needs. There is a frequent question a lot of my customers ask today: is email still relevant? My answer is a big, big yes. Email by far, uh, for asset management, wealth management industry, of course, it is the most popular medium, and it is going to stay. I am a strong believer in emails, and this is going to stay there. The most important aspect of all these tools and technologies, whether it is content management or automation or analytics, is the integration. When I typically speak to a lot of my colleagues and friends in asset and wealth management industry,